and welcome to the Go Mode podcast channel here on Twitch, where this evening we are presenting to you Mentor Tournament 2021 Tournament Edition Brackets Round 2 between CopyBookPizza and Riley. I am Worldwide Wimpy, and I am joined by Esperhub. Esper, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, everyone? I'm doing well.
That's good to hear. We are your broadcast team this evening. We are tracked by keginthecloset. Thank you very much to our tracker, because that's the yeoman's work of doing any of these rebroadcasts. As I said, we're in brackets round 2, so these two runners have advanced through the brackets in the Mentor tournament after 6 or was it 7 grueling rounds of Swiss cheese action. The Swiss rounds were with a Mentor nerd in an open setting. We're just
those people are either galaxy brainer or look like complete fools.
That's generally what Rando does to you. You're either a galaxy brain or you're sitting in the corner with that very pointy hat on top of your head. So as we get going, we did have a race between these two runners. CopyBookPizza did take the win yesterday, I do believe. Let me double check that real quick for you guys. I had it pulled up. Let me pull up the race results here. It was, yeah, CopyBookPizza with the win at 148.02. Riley just ended up conceding, which, you know, makes sense when you're one-on-one like this, and we're off. As we get an uncle start and a seg start. Yeah, some divergence. I always love divergence. Oh, nope. Just getting a one uncle chest and going into Senkus. We find
He psyched you. Doing the link house pump fake is what I like to call it here.
So we got Diddy Kong on the left hand side. We've got Nega Link on the right hand side. As we're walking through Hyrule, we get a Kakariko Force check first from Diddy Kong on CopyBookPizza's side. That just says Kakariko Village on that side, in case you didn't know.
It looked like he was going to try to pick it up and end up reading the sign by mistake. But yeah, the only way you can pick up the sign is either through the sides or behind it. So make sure if you're planning on using it to kill one of the guards as you come along to this tree, make sure you do that.
Yeah, usually if you're doing that for the tree pull, you use the sign to kill the pickleman right there. But killing a guard with the sign just isn't as effective. As we just had little pots of magic from the tree pull.
And we get 5 arrows for our crab prize today. And we look, I didn't notice the...
That's a bug net.
Oh.
That is a bug net on Lumberjack. So unless we need Dark World access through Aga and our runners want to be extra safe and add in about 3 minutes to their time, they can go get that bug net to catch some fairies or some bees.
I feel like it'll be a very super hard flex if you just go ahead and get that and still come out first place.
So we just find 20 bucks on the mushroom spot. CopyBookPizza heading into Kakariko here. No bombs, a little short on cash. Gonna be doing Blind's Hut first. See if you can catch some bombs. Usually when I'm short of cash or short on bombs, I like to go to the tavern first. Let's see if I get bombs. And if not, oh well, I guess I'm doing this the long way.
Yeah, there's no shame of doubling back in Kakariko because you're always going to be going around here back and forth. And as we see in the first chest pool, 30 bombs as well as some pocket change here and there and everywhere. So that'll make Copybook feel a little bit more happy about that. So he can clear up Kakariko Village from there. Meanwhile, Riley's taking the pro gamer route, getting those bushes. 2 of them have a 50-50 for having a bomb drop to spawn, and he gets one successfully. So they're gonna go ahead and go to the village the opposite way, which is from south to north.
And a race game, we find a hammer. So you're gonna have to use that one bomb to get the hammer.
Or you can opt out and not get it now, go into the shed, get more bombs, then come back to this. But looks like they're gonna go straight for it right now and go ahead and get that out the way. It just needs to have to go ahead and get more bombs.
As we find a glove and some more rupees inside of Kakariko Well, after not finding too much besides those bombs and more cash inside a blind cell, or a blind house, I should say. As we get a map check, I saw a crystal in Desert, a crystal in Hera, a sword on our bottle merchant. I didn't happen to see what Eastern was. Looks to be a crystal. Oh, Hera's a pendant. Okay, perfect. Our tracker doing the yeoman's work, keg in the closet, just making sure that we don't look like dopes.
You're gonna have to buy him around after this one.
Only redeemable at Kakariko Village Tavern. As we find nothing of interest on the library shelf, probably going to be heading up into the village here. We're going to find some bombs in Blind's house. Going to find enough cash for that bottle merchant to get the sword. And our tavern has a piece of heart.
So yeah,
we're kind of doubling over checks here. I just want to remind you, you can follow the runners by clicking on inside the Twitch chat. I'm pretty sure we have an !R command for runners in Gomo Podcast. I'm pretty sure.
It exists. We have a bot for this. I'm pretty sure. If not, then
Yep.
There we go.
And you can do the same thing for your commentating team by hitting the !C command inside of Twitch chat. Also give you our tracker's Twitch channel as well. We all run Link to the Past Rando. Make sure you give all of us a follow. I've been really enjoying the Mentor tournament here. All the races have been super close, even in the Swiss rounds. So if you enjoy real close racing, make sure you continue to tune in. And don't forget, because we are on the Go Mode Podcast, you can check out the Go Mode Podcast itself. GoModePodcast.com, I do believe, is the website. Let me double check, because I got it right here on my preference bar. Yep. Where they do a bi-weekly podcast all about Link to the Past Randomizer. In fact, one of the hosts is the current champion of champions, Dante. I think that's how he likes it pronounced. So make sure you click and subscribe to both the Gomo Podcast here on Twitch and on GoMoPodcast.com.
So yeah, not a whole lot. Copy is going to go ahead and get their hammer. From here, I feel like the South Shore is going to be today's game plan, as always. As you know, notice how they went into the not the merchant, but the shop to get more bombs, because that's a very viable idea to do right now, especially when you're low on them.
Yeah, you've got the hammer, you've got the sword, you've got the glove, you've got the hammer to use. An escape play here makes a lot of sense. If you know your dark room and you think there's something in Dark Cross, if you find a small key here in the back of Escape, you can go ahead and do the dark rooms as well and knock out the front of Escape whenever you feel like it. So, I'm not surprised that Escape play here is what one of our runners is choosing.
Yeah, plus it's out of the way. Plus, they also did pull up a map in the Sanctuary start, so that helps it round down the possibility of the key being in Dark Cross and whatnot. But if they go to the front part of Escape, they're probably going to ride on hoping that the key is in that area, so they don't have to go into Dark Cross at all. But as we see here, Copy is going to head towards south after checking the back of the Escape to hopefully come across with some more goodies at the dam. And it looks like
makes sense to go ahead and do South Shore here. I am the type of runner that likes to go, okay, I did the back of Escape, I have the means to do Escape, I'm just gonna do Escape and just say I'm done with it, and then head to South Shore. But nothing wrong with doing this now, doing the dam, maybe heading left, probably heading right.
Usually the opening gamut I like to take is at the Kakariko, go to south, it can go right, check out Ice Cave, and with the money that they got, if they come across Moon Pearl, they'll have their Dark World access, but usually I like to play a little bit of Degeneracy. Oh, never mind, there's the flute. I was going to say we should go to usually fake flipper into Zora Lake just to see it about the waterfall fairy, but it seems like the flute's gonna steer them closer to the mountain with that sort of with that being there. So hopefully Riley would come to that item pretty soon after the front part of escape, and most likely they're gonna catch on to see what else is up as we get into the mini mort room. Doing
an interesting choice from CopyBookPizza here, not to just save and quit, go turn in the flute, and then pick up Mini Moldorm after activating the flute. I find that the flute's the one item, when you get it, you just go and book it and activate it. It just cuts so many screens and just makes your convenience of travel significantly easier. Speaking of, we find the flippers inside of our Mini Moldorm cave, so...
At this point, I would have saved and quit at the very least after Mini Mort. Because now you can just flute over to the path to Ice Cave if you really want to. And along the way, you can see if you get Houlihan out the way and get more rupees to do the Zora check.
I see a question in chat from Link to the Past Ken. He's wondering where I want to see Moon Pearl, and I want to see Moon Pearl in my favorite location. Esper, do you happen to know where my favorite Moon Pearl location is?
Absolutely not.
Checkerboard Cave. That is my favorite Moon Pearl spot. That means you have Titans, you have Flute, you have Mirror, and a Fire Rod in the first chest of the escape sequence for Riley. So both routes paying off for our runners here. You really enjoy having that Fire Rod.
Yep, Fire Rod this early means that they got... If Skullwoods is a crystal, they can immediately take that out once they get into the Dark World access part. But that's just a pleasing sight to have, to be honest. It's a light source and it does damage. Tremendous amounts.
I would guess both of our runners are probably going to be looking for another sword, maybe half magic, to go into Skullwoods before they attempt that. An idiot like me will go 5 sword, fighter sword, no half magic, fire rod, Skullwoods. Yeah, I could do that.
I mean, I have done it as well, to be honest. But when you're getting into the groove of these runs, you have to not be a stranger to low percentage clears like that. Like, they also have Hammer 2 to put into account, so if they do run out of shots of the fire rod, they can fall back on the hammer if they play it correctly.
As we get a look inside Zelda Cell, we find Quake, and on the hobo underneath the bridge, he just has a little piece of love for our runners today.
And with Quake being the last item in the escape, that means that the small key is in Dark Cross, so they don't really have to go through that today, which is a pretty good thing to know.
Yep. As CopyBookPizza continues their swim around Lake Hylian Island, we're going to see what's on the island itself. Just 10 arrows. We're going to go into the fairy fountain and give some money to a scam fish immediately after that. Riley going through the dam themselves currently. Picks up that piece of heart. Going to find that flute underneath all that water. We get a bottle, an empty one conveniently. Toss it in. Fairy gives us some blue goop. And 10 arrows inside of fairy fountain.
Oh, that just means that we can just save a lot of money now. We don't have to... Only thing we have to worry about money-wise is the entry to Palace of Darkness, as well as the treasure chest game in the Dark World, as well as the digging game in the Dark World, which I believe are both... Oh, hang on for a moment. We just saw a mirror on Zora's ledge.
A reflective surface that brings you between both dark and light worlds over there on Zora's ledge. We'll see if the scamfish has anything important as well. So that probably means our Moon Pearl's up Death Mountain with
I was
hammer,
exactly going to say the same thing.
Flute, mirror.
If it's not in Tower of Hera, it's definitely somewhere around Paradox Cave. Especially
it's gonna be in Paradox Cave, the middle right chest, on the upper part. That's exactly where it's gonna be.
Like the only time, someone in the chat saying checkerboard, but We don't got Titan's Mint yet, so we can't call it. We can't put it on. We can't put it out there yet as a possibility just yet. Now I will definitely be saying, yeah, it could be on checkerboard, but I haven't yet seen a. I haven't seen a glove upgrade just yet here.
Ooh, I really like what Riley's doing here. Electing to skip Ice Rod Cave, skipping Hobo, seeing what's on Lake Hylian Island, and saying, I'm just committing to Zora area. You're going to save yourself a little bit of time just simply by cutting all of that out and floating there later.
Yeah, we know that they're saving time, but if you were in a runner's shoes and not having the knowledge that we got, it is always going to be a gamble to skip out on some of these sections like this early in the game. Because in any kind of situation where you have to make a decision, when you do make that decision, you need to make sure you're committed to it. And
yeah, you just look at your inventory saying, okay, I've got glove, I got hammer, I've got flips, I got fire rod, I've got the flute now, I've got a sword. Oh, great, there's the mirror on Zora Ledge. That's a whole lot of items to have in Sphere 1 progression. I would be skipping as much Sphere 1 from here on out as I could. So Ice Rock Cave gone. Not checking Agina until I'm doing Desert. I'm not even checking Sage's Closet until I hit Dark World, go into Pod, or once I have the bow with Eastern Palace.
Now, the funny thing is, Moon Pearl can be any of those locations, as you mentioned.
It could be.
Out. But like I said before, we won't know for sure until we come across with it. So every decision that's being made here will always be a gamble.
What's nice, though, is that you have that flute. If it's in Agina's, it's just a little bit of a walk from the number 6 2D Doot spot. Ice Rock Cave is right at number 8. Nice and easy to get to. No big deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, flute, with the benefits of having a flute now, you don't have to worry about traversing all the way back to Ice Rock Cave, which is a good thing. As we get from the old man 20 rupees, which is not much. But we're going to go ahead and take that and move on. But it looks like, oh yeah, that's right. Rowley has not freed the bird yet.
Yep.
Just kind of went ahead and just saved and quit, I think, after. Wait, what did he do before that?
He got the mirror and left Zora area. So they've orphaned Hobo and Ice Rod Cave from that part of the route.
Okay.
But it makes a lot of sense. Go turn in Sick Kid, turn in the flute. You have Fire Rod, so if it's in Hera, you can do the basement. If it's in the basement, so Riley has the advantage on that. If CopyBookPizza goes into Hera, finds one item and one item's in the basement, they're going to have to orphan it.
Yeah, and hopefully that is not their moon. Hopefully it won't be their Moon Pearl if that's the case. But yeah, the play seems to be at the moment that's going to be the deciding factor is how long will Copybook take in order to start doing the escape sequence in order to get his Fire Rod, because the longer he puts off on the escape, the further behind he's going to end up getting to.
Well, you may not need the Fire Rod for the seed. That's the nice thing. But if Moon Pearl happens to be in Hera and you don't find the lamp anywhere else in Sphere 1 or up Death Mountain, well, you're going to have to do escape to get the Fire Rod. As we just find Big Key and Compass inside the first two chests, and, well, the first chest and the open spot in Hera. Gonna be smacking some beetles with a hammer.
Yeah, without the aid of the hook shot, they're none of our runners, unless they Galaxy Brain it at this point to get a hook shot somewhere very early, they're not going to be able to do Hera Pot clip for this.
One could argue go do East Death Mountain first versus dipping into Hera, because Hera is a pendant and not a valuable one at that. So, but Moon Pearl is pretty likely to be up here on the mountain, so you might as well, since you're here, as we haven't found an item yet, so we're Compass and 2 items. So let's hope that Compass is sitting in the basement for CopyBookPizza. If not, that's a hard last location.
Decisions. Where are our items? All right. Well, that's item number 1, which is a piece of heart. Giving them another whole heart, thanks to the collection of the 3 other heart pieces that they got. But yeah, that small key is making it very, very dubious as to whatever coffee break room is going to be needed or not.
Yeah, it's a coin flip at this point. Does Moldorm have the compass, or does he have, or was it? It's the map, not the compass. Does he have the map, or does he have an item? As we just need 3 hammer smacks on the tail. Gotta avoid the edges because Moldorm will push you down. 3 smacks, and Moldorm can't smack you back. We get a lamp.
Speaking of light sources, okay then. That lantern, that lantern definitely is gonna make Copybook feel a lot more relieved that he doesn't have to do coffee break room. Now that 2 of the items in the this dungeon is out of the way. But also this means that if we had to play logic and Misery Mire is required, that lantern is required. That lantern is like locked behind an unwanted pendant dungeon.
Luckily, Riley is heading up the climb 4 Tower of Hair. Gonna kill them dorm as well. Gonna get that light source. So no dark rooms today. I should tell you my favorite lamp location. Because I've gotten lamp in a very, very dumb place before. Just 3 bombs through Spiral Cave. As we get a Moldorm fight over on the right-hand side with Riley.
A little bit of resistance from Mort, but there goes Mort going down on the 3rd strike from the hammer. As Riley's going to pick up their lamp and not being too far off, going to follow behind of the traces of CopyBookPizza as we get in our Paradox Cave.
Only real difference between our runners is that Riley ended up doing the Front of Escape, which yielded them the Fire Rod and Quake Medallion. So having those items are nice. Not super handy for the moment, but you never know. We're likely going to need 1 medallion to open up a dungeon, and if we don't need medallions, we're certainly going to need that Fire Rod.
You getting an Ice Rod in Paradox Cave. I'm going to safely assume that Turtle Rock is a pendant dungeon because we found Ice Rod very early in this.
Moon Pearl? No. Oh, okay. So yeah, we're down to Agina's Cave for Moon Pearl, along with Sasrala and the very front part of Eastern Palace for a Moon Pearl or Aga 1 access.
And it looks like it looks like he's gonna go ahead and do Escape now, which is probably the next best choice in this situation after you finished up your Death Mountain climb for Tower of Hera as well as the east side part.
Hear me out on this though. I understand that it's the density, but you've just gotten Lamp. You're 1 item away from having Aga 1 access. You have the flute, so why not knock out at least Sasrala or Agina or both before you head to Escape?
Well, if you're going to go to do the Sasrala's closet, you have the intentions of dipping into Eastern. And without the bow, that may not be appealing to a runner. And then Agina, that's a one-off location, so to say, compared to going in Escape and then doing your checks from there. Like playing on Destiny will make the most sense at this point.
But if you happen to find the cape or a master sword in Agina or Sasrala's closet, you're now able to say, okay, I didn't find Moon Pearl there or in Escape, I'm doing Aga 1, mirror, you're right there. Saves you a couple screens of transitioning and walking.
True, but we won't know for sure until we pull up those items. And if I was in their shoes, I probably would have went with CopyBookPizza's decision as to just get Escape out the way. Worst case scenario, save and quit, and then start doing the one-off checks. And if the one-off checks do reveal that they come across the cape or master sword to do the castle tower, then I'll just flute back or save and quit back into it. It doesn't take that much to get back into Hyrule Castle to do the castle tower sequence to fight Aga 1. But compared to like doing the one-off checks right now and trying to look for the items, compared to getting potentially both Fire Rod and Quake, I feel like this is a better idea to do, like getting this out the way now, especially with the fact that Fire Rod and Quake is here, because we still don't know what's the entrance to the entrance to both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. Getting more medallions along the way means that we don't have less to worry about. Hold on for a while.
Well, yeah, I was just bringing up that argument simply because if you could route in the escape sequence with a potential AGA play, it saves you a little bit of time. It's just one of those things where I love Rando, and you can debate the choices on it, and more experienced players might say you're better off doing this. Others might say you're better off doing this, and it's just great conversation to have as we're trying to watch two runners figure out what this puzzle is. As we see Riley heading to Ice Ride Cave, Diddy Kong for CopyBookPizza heading to Sasrala's Closet. It will be interesting to see if nothing's in Sasrala. Do you go ahead and go into Eastern without the bow? We know Ice Ride Cave is nothing, just $100. Sasrala's Closet, 3 items in the back behind a bombable wall. We'll see what we get. We have armor, arrows, and bombos, so we are not in a medallion hunt today. So should we need to enter in Mire or Turtle Rock or both, we're going to have the means to do so. As it looks like Riley's going to be heading toward the hobo underneath the bridge, knocking out all of these one-off checks they have yet to do. Getting caught there on the edge of Lake Highland Island. It's real tough to kind of swim around that channel. As CopyBookPizza heads up the stairs into Hera. Looks as though they were doing the nice little stretch that if you basically push up and left as quickly as you can get up the stairs a little bit faster than just walking straight up them. So nice use of moving mechanics there from our purple Diddy Kong. Riley's going to take out the flute. I would be surprised if they don't head to Eastern area. So desert. Ooh, okay, there's our Moon Pearl in the first chest of Eastern. Blue mail on the desert ledge. As CopyBookPizza debating with themselves, do I finish my dip of Eastern or do I just flute away and go do Dark World? And mirroring and fluting seems to be the way to go. Looks like they're going to be entering from Village of Outcast here. With the mirror, gloves, hammer, a play to go to the swamp portal isn't a bad play to make. There's 3 bombs inside of Agina's cave. It's a little bit of a walk with just your power glove and hammer to get over to the Village of Outcast portal, but makes a lot of sense. You've got Fire Rod. You could probably knock out 2 crystals here in Skullwoods and Thieves Town. We won't know until we get a map check. As Riley is heading their way to Sasrala's Closet and into Eastern.
I have returned. Thank you for waiting.
We get our map check. We've got a green pendant Mire, pendant Turtle Rock, so we don't need any medallions, and red crystals in Ice Palace and Skull Woods. So, all 3 medallions probably useless for us unless there's a bow and TR or Mire, which has been popping up a lot recently. So, Riley gonna find Sasrala's Closet, going to be empty. Our Moon Pearl in the first check of Eastern Palace.
Oh wow! So Moon Pearl is in Eastern. That's kind of funny when you think about it, but I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, I had to deal with something.
As we're getting our first dip into Skullwoods, it being a crystal, you go ahead and say, well, I'm going to knock this out real quick. And getting a nice full magic from the berries, as Diddy Kong pushes that stone statue that he's going to need to get that switch pushed down with. Gonna check this check. And we are back out. Now with this heart count, Fire Rod, you do have a green goo, so yeah, Mothula fight shouldn't be too bad for CopyBookPizza.
I was gonna say, like, he has green goo, he's good to go. Like, at this point, you can just knock this right out the park. Go ahead straight to the back, smack up the moth with the fire rod if you really need to. But yeah, like going through the back part first before doing the front part is always a good idea, especially when you have to clear it as a crystal dungeon, because it means like on the way back you can route it in a little bit more cleanly when you check the front part for its checks and get its items and hope for progression.
As Riley is continuing through this Eastern Palace dip, CopyBookPizza elected to go ahead and mirror and flute and hit the Dark World. Not a bad play from Riley. You might find yourself a bow, or maybe something like the hookshot or a red cane to make your life a little bit easier, picking up that progressive item before you actually need to finish the dungeon.
Yeah, this is a understandable play, and the moment he picked up that, I believe that compass, he went ahead and just started to leave out, which makes sense. Like, you don't want to linger here too long, especially if you don't have any intentions of, like, at the very least, clearing out the chest here.
As poor CopyBookPizza has a heck of a second to last room before Mothula. Ran out of magic. You have Fighter Sword. Doesn't really do too much damage to your Gibdos. So just take out a hammer and smack them for that last key you need. As Riley has elected to come into the Village of Outcasts from below, going to Hype Cave, do your mirror check here with Cave 45, Stumpy dig game, and heading into the village from the bottom. So we get a Mothula fight. In my opinion, the hardest boss fight in the game outside of Cold Stare. You've got a moving floor, you've got spikes, you've got a moth moving around shooting psychic beams at you. If a spike is over the moth or under the moth, when you hit it with the sword or the fire rod, he takes no damage. He's just a big jerk. He flies around, likes to stay up on top, saying, "Haha, I'm invulnerable. You can't kill me. Get me. Come on. Come on. Haha, you're a jerk."
I feel like Mothula is a test of patience. The more you fight against Mothula, the better you get at dealing with the nuances, like the moving tiles and so on forth, to the point where you're just able to like deal with it with no issues. But I'm gonna hold my breath. Oh, there we go. I was gonna hold my breath for a little bit because Copy was having a little bit of an issue being on that one pip of health left, and I was trying not to jinx it. So good on him to finish Mothula at this state, to be honest. Like, yeah, it's really hard to try to get that on a low percent because whew.
Reward with $20 and a crystal. We also have $20 in our dig spot. Nothing else too interesting on Stumpy. We're going to be checking K45 and the dig game here momentarily. So more than likely this chest is probably going to be a small key since we haven't gotten one yet, and we've gotten a map and an item. That's the big key. It's just one of those, how the logic works in Skullwoods is that you need all three small keys from the chest logically to clear the dungeon. Of course, we playing randomizer, we don't follow key logic a lot in most of the dungeons, so we usually just look for one. So that means there's an item, there's the compass up in the front, and then three small keys. As we hit our digging game here for Riley. Could be up to 30 digs to find your item. And we're just digging away. Dig it away. Just digging. And there's a bow in the right-hand side chest of Skullwoods and some powder to sprinkle on some anti-fairies or into the sacrificial bat in Kakariko Village. So some nice safeties there for Riley. I'm sure CopyBookPizza is going to be picking up their powder relatively soon.
Going to check over the bumper ledge to see what the next item is over there. And it is another sword, so the moment they get a Titan, the moment they get their mitts, and the moment they get a cape, I feel like
you don't need Titans for that, Rock. You just need
right. You just need a glove. It's just the more important item is the cape, though.
Yeah. So unless we find the cape relatively soon, I think that sword's just going to be stuck up there, unless our runners want to have tempered or butter for some reason.
I feel like in this state right now, the current state of the sea, I feel like you'll want to have tempered as soon as possible. You will be very happy to get buttered along the way, but having tempered now, especially if you come across a situation where you have to fight Ganon Silverless, will always be like the main objective. Like that's as far as like speed running goes.
As we get a chess game, just 10 arrows. Nothing in C-shaped house as well, but some roops. I think that was a vanilla 300 roop cache inside of C-shaped. We get our first look inside of Thieves Town. 4 items inside. We have the hammer, so we don't have to worry about a locked big chest.
Yeah, our runners can full clear it thanks to the fact that they got hammers, so they don't have to worry about gambling on any of the items here. But they're hoping to continue. Copy is hoping to continue the momentum that he's got because I believe he's a little bit in the lead right now. But Riley's not too far off, so depends on how Riley deals with the Mothula boss as he takes an intentional death to get some hearts back and warp back to the beginning part of this dungeon.
Yep, as we're going through Thieves Town, our second chest was just a bomb refill. Our third chest is going to be Bloomerang, the good old blue boomer in your hands. So we might have an opportunity to see Stun Prize as we find 10 more arrows inside the vanilla big key chest. So that's 3 items in the front of Skullwoods. As we get a Mothula fight here, we got a little bit of time in between checks that we haven't seen and ones that we have. I just want to remind you, you can follow the runners by hitting the !R command inside Twitch chat. That'll give you links to our fabulous runners' Twitch pages. You can do the same thing for your commentating team, !C. Give myself, Worldwide Mobility, a follow, Esperhub, my co-commentator, and our tracker, the wonderful Keg in the Closet, a follow as well. And also remember, this is on the Go Mode podcast channel on Twitch. They have their own website where they've released a bi-weekly podcast about all things linked to the Past Randomizer. That's at gomodepodcast.com. Make sure you check that out as well. As we're finally getting up to the top of Thieves Town, we've got 1 check to make in the bombable floor room. Gotta dodge these crickets though. In blue mail, they don't hit as hard, but they do randomly move in a clockwise position. Once they stop, you don't know if they're going to be going left, right, up, or down. But from there, they move in a clockwise position. So you just kind of have to watch, study them, and say, okay, I'm safe to go. As we get a Mothula fight on the right-hand side for Riley. Starting off with the hammer strats. He does have 2 fire rod shots to use as well. Probably going to be saving those after smacking the moth a couple times. It is 8 hammer smacks to kill the moth, same as tempered sword, and I think it's 8 shots with the fire rod as well, 16 with master sword, and then from there I think it's also 16 with fighter sword.
Yeah, the link with Mothula with fighter sword is not the ideal thing to do, but thankfully the refill on the green just to get out 2 shots makes quick work of Mothula as he gets his 20 rupees, and hopefully soon enough he's going to find his bow and arrow in the front part of the Skull Woods.
And the only real disadvantage you have with Fighter Sword on Mothula is that it just does not have the same reach as Master Sword. So you gotta get a little bit closer to give a little bit more hugs. And at that point, if you have the hammer does 3 times the amount of damage. So you might as well just smack it with a hammer. As we get a look into Blind Cell, she has a map. No small keys so far, so that means the small key is locked behind itself in the big chest. Wouldn't have mattered much as we do have that hammer. Copy, you don't have the key.
It's I like to call it muscle memory. You just kind of autopilot to doing so.
Yep.
And it happens a lot, especially when you're playing different seed types.
And we don't know how much practice CopyBookPizza put in before attempting the race today, so Maybe if you do a seed as a warm-up, you remember, oh, I had the small key to do the big chest. Oh, no, I don't have it for this one. As Riley picks up their bow in Skullwoods, as we get a blind fight. Let's see how the script goes for CopyBookPizza. So far, so good in the first stages. Gonna have to get a little bit closer. And we're a little off script, that's okay.
I feel like improvising is a good, strong suit for speedrunners. Especially when you're playing a randomized, because you have to adjust on the fly, given on their equipment.
Yeah, a blind script is one of those things that when someone who's good at it does it, makes it look easy, but is significantly harder than what you think, because any little variation in you executing it can screw up the whole pattern. As we find a book on Blind's corpse, I didn't know it must be in Braille, because how could Blind read? She can't see. So very progressive of Blind to make sure we have a book that both we can read and the blind can read. So we get a look inside the brewery, just 10 arrows. As CopyBookPizza is going to be heading to the dig game to get their magic.
Now, funny enough, if any of these runners did Thieves Town Dungeon first, they would have most likely gotten a book, and when they went up to do Skull Woods, they may have the tendency to mirror into the light world and check pedestal.
I mean, at this point, we're only looking for Hookshot and Titansmiths for Go mode. I wouldn't even worry about the
well,
yeah,
I was gonna say in a given situation, but right now I don't think pedestal is going to be alive anyway, because even if you need let's see, you do need a Hookshot because Swamp Palace, and that's like Swamp Palace and I guess Kana Samora. When I say I guess Kana Samora, it's because Ganon's Tower right side still requires it.
If the big key is there. So you would have a 1 in 17 chance of having big key on left side versus the 1 in 5 chance that it's locked by Samaria. So I would not expect our runners to go out of their way to look for Kana Samaria. The math just simply is in your favor that the big key is going to be left-hand side anyway. So, but it'll be an interesting gamble should one of our runners elect to do that. That's for sure. As CopyBookPizza is cleaning up South Dark World here, it'd be interesting to see a Swamp Dip, but I'm more than certain our next play is going to be to Pod and Eastern area. Finishing out Eastern and doing Pod and clearing that out. Again, we're seeing a lot of the same checks that have already been made by our runners. We're going to be getting Hype Cave here from CopyBookPizza. We might see a Pyramid Ledge check into Pod, maybe Pyramid Ledge, do Catfish, then flute over to Pod. That might be a little bit more efficient, playing a little bit safer there, just knocking out stuff that you could do while you're in the area. It'd be a little bit faster with boots, but, you know, you can't really say, I'm getting boots in this seed, so... Boots are one of those items that locks so few destinations that if you don't need them, you don't need them. CopyBookPizza heading toward the right-hand side over toward Pod area. Again, you can elect to go do Pyramid and then go up to do Catfish. You have the flute and mirror, so you could just mirror and flute, pick up Pod afterward, but is electing to go straight to Pod. Not a wrong play at all.
Meanwhile, Raleigh is finishing up their descent. Well, yeah, their descent, because they got to go downstairs to get the mating to beat up the Thieves Town dungeon boss to get their book. But they're not falling off too far behind. Once they finish with that, I feel like they're going to follow suit. But I think They may go to Eastern instead of spot. Actually, no, they did do their South Dark Road South checks, so they're probably gonna go ahead and make a beeline to the east part of Dark Road and finish that, get that out the way.
Riley may turn in the powder. I know Copybook Pizza didn't. You have the mirror. You can just mirror right when you're going south, and then check it, and then flute to pod Eastern if you're Riley. But powder, saving that for in case you need to do Smith chain, absolutely okay. The problem is in chat is we don't have access to Mire or Turtle Rock. We need Titan's bits for that. And I would be hard orphaning the Dark Death Mountain for as long as possible, since Turtle Rock is a bad medallion. And you don't want to make excessive mountain climbs. Because without boots, getting over to TR or over to Dark Death Mountain to loot that all in is a 2-minute commitment. So if you can shave off 2 minutes by not having to climb the mountain unnecessarily, you should do it. And blind giving Riley a little bit of a hiccup, but that's okay. We got that Regu. 9 slashes with the sword will take care of it. And we get our book.
So meanwhile, Copybook Pizza is in their dive into the Palace of Darkness.
Looks like they got a key in the first chest, and then a map, compass, big key, or item in the bridge chest.
Chest, yeah. So they're electing to go ahead and go to the Bowlock side through this way by making sure they get the basement chest key first, the basement chest first, and then going towards here. But thankfully, with that bow, should make quick work of the mimics. And hopefully we'll get something good along the way at the Bowlock side.
Was it big key on the bridge chest, or was it just something else?
Oh, it was Titan's Mitts on bridge. Okay, yeah, okay. Now I just now noticed. Okay.
Alright, so yeah, Titan's Mitts in pod, not surprised. And it looked as though Batter had nothing for us at all. So there's this small key we are guaranteed on the right-hand side. And another small key. So there could be something in the big key chest. We'll see if Copybook Pizza elects to go do that before doing the back. Usually if you don't have the big key at this point, you go ahead and just gamble that the big key's there. Big key likes being in its home, so... no, gonna go ahead and hit the pegs and hit the back. Interesting. This is an actual reasonable gamble. Looking for the big key over here on the right-hand side or in the dark maze versus the one possible check it could be. Another small keys. We're gonna get a look at the pyramid ledge over on Riley's side. Again, this makes sense. Go to pyramid. Take the walk to Catfish. You're already kind of halfway there. Mirror flute to pod. There's that big key. Yeah, nice gamble by Copybook Pizza. Now you're going, okay, well, if I find map or compass, if I don't find map or compass, then I know where it's at. As Riley picks up this full heart container from the pyramid ledge. Another full heart container for Copybook Pizza. With the mirror, you've already bombed the wall. It's just as safe to walk over to the big chest versus bomb jumping it. There's it's this route this way where the big key was. A bomb jump here probably only saves you in the neighborhood of 7 to 10 seconds. Really not that big of a deal. There's a compass, so hopefully map is sitting in the big key chest here on pod. Nope, it's going to be an item. Actually, it's going to be a small key, logically. So, Helmet has an item. There's another small key in the big key chest. Because that's going to be big. It's going to be key for key. As we see Kiki being delivered by Riley over on the right-hand side. Not that far behind, actually. Doing an additional check for Pyramid. one could argue a little bit less efficient routing for Eastern, but really, honestly, that's the difference. As we get we're gonna have ourselves a Helmosaur fighter sword fight. So more than likely, we're gonna see either hammer smacks or 8 arrows to the jewel of weakness on Helmosaur once we get the helmet off of Helmosaur.
I feel like most runners elect to do the bow, as it allows them to move while strafing, as well as fire off shots a lot faster than relying on getting close to hit the hammer. Especially even though they're on blue mail, taking a lot of hits while their health is not that high in this kind of situation, I would kind of not recommend, especially if you're not familiar with using hammer at all. But that's just a personal preference.
So in finding those Titans mitts, the question now becomes, where is that hook shot? You could dip Swamp, looking for a hook shot there. It could be in Ice Palace, and Ice Palace not hook shot locked. It could very easily be in Desert, but Desert could be boots locked. Where do you think our runners are going to be going next after doing Eastern?
Given how Copy is running, I want to say he'll just go ahead and go straight into Ice Palace. You have nearly all the means to do Ice Palace. Even if you don't have some more arcane, you can still do Ice Palace bomb jump to finish up the dungeon, and then you can probably check for items afterwards. But outside of that, there's like just always be clearing dungeons. Just do it.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is A, B, C, D. Always be clearing dungeons. And if you could clear a dungeon, even if it's maybe not fully in logic, you do it. But with those Titans mitts, Mire is open. Turtle Rock is open. The rest of the mountain is open. You're gonna have to take the long hike up the mountain, but it is open and available to you. As Helmosaur goes down for CopyBookPizza's 3rd Crystal of the Seed. As Helmosaur, not too much in the way of progression. Probably gonna get this small key here from the big key chest. Again, it's a little bit safer to go ahead and do that. The big key can be in there, and it likes being in there, especially since you've only found one item on the front of Pod. But really, no skin off your nose. You want to be sure. As CopyBookPizza is going through the right-hand side here of Eastern Palace. As we're getting a little bit of a duplicate check, just want to remind you, you can follow both of these runners by hitting the !C in Twitch command. That will give you links to both of our runners' Twitch pages. You can do the same thing for your commentating team, C for commentating, R for racers, I'm sorry. You can get the links for myself, Worldwide Wimpy, my co-commentator, Esperhub, and our wonderful tracker who makes sure that we're not dumb, Keg in the Closet. Make sure you give us all a follow.
So to answer the question in chat, it's kind of impossible for a hookshot to be pedestal because actually no,
we would need the boots first.
We don't need the boots, yeah.
So yeah, because Mire is either boots or hookshot locked. So right now, hookshot on pad is highly unlikely. Could it be in TR? Absolutely. As we find a Master Sword in the big chest of Eastern Palace. As we got the big key from the left-hand side chest just before the big key, big chest room. As Riley is going through their Dark Maze of Pod. Gonna be real happy to find that sword inside. So two items left here in Eastern Palace, one here in the big key chest, the other is going to be on Armos. But yeah, with that mirror, you've got some checks you can make. You got Graveyard Ledge, you got Catfish we still haven't seen. If you go and do Ice, there's Pyramid Fairy you can do. You have Crystal Dungeons that you can dip. Ice Palace is probably clearable for you. You gotta go around and jump down. Okay. Riley, forgetting you gotta hit the switch. We've all done it, though. As we get our first peek inside the dark room of Eastern Palace. Gotta get this key from this Igor, and you're good to go.
I feel like worst case scenario, your last location in your hookshot, and if it's on pedestal, then so be it. But in a state where we have a lot of other things to check, I feel like it's not worth it.
Yeah, you're locked out of Mire by boots or hookshot. You're locked out of TR by having no Cane of Samaria. So you would need 2 of 3 items that may not be completely necessary for the seed in the first place. So it's highly, highly unlikely hookshot's on ped. I wouldn't even be thinking about it right now. My next stop would probably be Mire area. Check Mire Shed. Do Desert if I can do it. Because then that will tell me if I need the boots. Then head over to Ice Palace. As CopyBookPizza gets onto those Armos, being a little safe here by holding out the Master Sword to keep yourself turned in one direction, as we just find the map on the Armos. And gets their 4th Crystal of the Seed.
Next up, most likely Desert Palace to do the dip in the check.
Link to Pass Ken in chat asking, can Hookshot be on Pyramid Fairy? Yes, it could be if Ice Palace is not locked by Hookshot. So if you find the big key or small key in the first 3 checks of Ice Palace, it is not Hookshot locked because of how you could route it to get small keys. And CopyBookPizza doing exactly what I would do. Do Mire Shed, check Desert. Do I need boots? No? Okay, we'll just do Desert and then move on to the next thing. Bombs. And more bombs. As Helmasaur goes down on Riley's side, going to pick up their 3rd Crystal of the Seed. Just getting 10 arrows, a refill, so they can contest with the Armos next. As we get a peek as to see what Mire is. Generally, if I have all 3 medallions, I don't even bother seeing what it is, because what do I care? I've got all 3. But always nice little habit to double check that in case you don't. So yeah, the difference in checks right now is Riley's done Pyramid Ledge and has done Batter. CopyBookPizza has finished Eastern and is doing their desert checks here with Mire Shed. We've seen Agina over on Riley's side as well. So I would imagine CopyBookPizza is going to head straight to Desert after this. Riley's soon going to be picking up their Master Sword. Alright, as CopyBookPizza has elected to go ahead and take the walk over toward the Shed and Mirror. I like, with some chicanery with the bombs or Cane of Samaria, you could walk through mirror portals. So I'll check Mire Shed, portal, walk up and do Desert, take the mirror spot back to Dark World, mirror right at the back of Desert Palace, and then if I still need to check checkerboard, use a bomb to walk through the door, and then pick up my mirror spot.
And CopyBook picking off the red mail, this is on Desert Ledge, added defense, means I don't really have to worry about acquiring more hearts now at this point, so they should be feeling very comfortable after getting their red mail from there.
Yeah, and how the seed has been very thirsty for swords, you'll gladly take the red mail, as we are boots locked officially inside of Desert Palace. Now, I actually like this play from CopyBookPizza.
Yeah,
There's...
continuing to dive into Desert Palace just to see about the last set of checks is always a good idea because Boots could be still in there, and if it's not, then oh well.
I've had a hammer and mirror on right side Boots locked Desert Palace before, and the Boots were locked behind the hammer, so...
It's just one of those incentives that you should at the very least be thorough with your dives sometimes, if you have the ability to do so. Like, sure, you may end up wasting a little bit more time, but what if those items were a progression? Then you'll be severely, severely burned by the decision of skipping out of those while you're still there. But as we saw, it was just map and compass, so CopyBookPizza is going to go ahead and take the dive into Ice Palace. Now that we know that it's Boots locked, meaning that it is possible that a hookshot can be on pedestal with that kind of knowledge, but it all depends on how this dungeon plays out. And as we all know, hookshot can still be on swamp while we're trying to take account of possibilities, because the only time you need the hookshot is when you get into to fight the boss, and so it could still be inside Swamp Palace.
You also needed to access the back, but yeah, it's hookshot can be in the palace, which is probably the worst spot for hookshot. So,
I guess if we're going vanilla locations that are pretty offensive, hookshot's location is up there with, I want to say,
Bow and Eastern.
Bow and Eastern is the least offensive, because at the very least you can get through that dungeon pretty fast. I would say hammer on Turtle Rock. Not hammer on Turtle, but hammer on Palace.
And in Pod is pretty bad. Moon Pearl and Hera is pretty bad too.
Well, okay, now Hera having Moon Pearl's not that bad. But I will definitely account for Palace of Darkness for Vanilla Hammer, as well as Hookshot Swamp Palace being the worst kinds of vanilla locations that you...
Bow in Pendant Eastern Palace is one of the worst. that is I'm not going into Eastern unless I have a bow if it's a pendant. Or it's a very last location. That's ugh. I'd rather do AGA 1 to check for something than go into Eastern to dip. As we're going to see the IPBJ over from CopyBookPizza side. Nice job lining that up on the first attempt.
First try.
Yeah, you can't bonk yourself for hookshot over to that skull. You gotta wait for that fire bar to move.
Yeah, I was going to say, you gotta wait for the fire bar to move before you go further. But yeah. Should be smooth sailing from there.
There's Riley following in the shadow CopyBookPizza, doing all of their checks in desert area that they had yet to check, which encompasses Checkerboard and Desert Palace itself, along with Meyer Shed. So we'll see if Riley elects to go up the mountain, or if they want to go ahead and do Ice Palace.
If you go up the mountain, you probably have the intention of either doing the one-off of Spike Cave or going into Dark World to check Super Bunny Hop, as well as the entrance to Turtle Rock. But I don't think that's like a wise decision, given how you don't have like the hook shot.
You have the tablet. You have the tablet up there. You have 2 bottles to do Spike Cave. You do have the checks in Super Bunny. Ice Palace is 5 checks with the Big Red Bomb, and you can loop in Catfish with that, which is not fun without the boots. So, is Ice Palace locked by Hookshot? Yes, because you didn't get the big key or the small key. So yeah, we are Hookshot locked in Ice Palace. So Hookshot is not going to be here at all. So Boots could be in here. So yeah, the rule of thumb of Ice Palace key logic is if you get the big key or a small key in the front, you're kind of good to go, because you can route certain ways to get small keys that you're not supposed to have. or that you could, that is the least efficient way to use the keys. So
there is a big key in the T slime room.
Yeah, you would need to, logically, for you to be able to get the big key in this seed, because you need to have the switches down. And if you have the switches down, you gotta walk up and around. You gotta take the small key from the shadow room. Yeah, because if big key was there, we're okay. That's the worst big key logic there, but because these red pegs would be down, logically, for Vanilla Ice Palace, you could go right, get the small key, get the big key from Iced Tea, and then head back up, and then come back around.
Yeah, it was a rather unfortunate fall. He was trying to set... Yeah, CopyBook was trying to set up a bomb jump over that ledge there, where the treasure chest is at, but it took an unfortunate fall, so they decided to go ahead and fight the boss instead and get that out the way. So that may be like the better idea to do instead of coming back up there to retry that. But ends up missing the opportunity to do the spin to keep them locked in one section, but that's okay. They got Fire Rod, half magic, and probably one more green potion to deal with. This fight is nothing.
Yep, nice little recovery. Get yourself the second item of the dungeon, which is a full heart container. But yeah, logically, Hookshot could be an Ice Palace now that the big key was an Iced Tea. So yeah, if you have big key and Iced Tea, logically you could walk all the way back the way you came without using that small key in that big ice floor room to then go right side without Hookshot.
And it looks like they're going to go ahead and take the mirror because they're going to go head over to their next destination, which I do believe it's probably going to be
Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, Pyramid Fairy. Oh no, you know what? I think because they got Titansmith, they're probably going to do Blacksmith Chain first, which is understandable because it allows you to get those checks out the way, and on top of that, they can check the tablet, and then after that, then they could go to Pyramid Fairy from there. It's pretty decent, efficient routing from there.
Well, there's the blue cane, Cane of Burna inside of Hammer Pegs.
And before that, our Riley ends up getting a cape, so there's our two invisibility items for the sea.
There's our hard spike cave logic. Oh no, that stupid card made us miss the duck.
Yeah, you gotta make sure, like, you gotta be careful mirroring out of there like that. Or at the very least, make sure you have a weapon to stun them with. But let's see what we got from the Blacksmith Chain going, because so far so good. As we get a piece of heart, okay, that's not that bad. I mean, from here, I would have went to the Dark World and checked the tablet.
They fluted to turn in the chest, so you'd have to flute the floor, take the portal, then do it that way.
Oh yeah, that would make routing sense at the very least.
I actually like this out of Riley. You've just gotten the cape from Smith Chain. Go check Bumper. You have the mirror now. Go check Graveyard Ledge, and then you can go do Catfish and be like, okay, I'm done with everything that is inconvenient out of the way. Duo, maybe single checks.
The north part of Dark World here is always like the most inconvenient routing to, like, it's kind of hard to routing in, especially if you do not have like the items immediately to do it. He's gonna find that temper sword, gonna grab that immediately.
Yeah, that's super convenient for Riley that they ended up just leaving Bumper where it was until you got Cape. Oh, it's a sword. Well, that's actually super nice. I'll take it.
But yeah, routing the north part up here can be a little bit tricky if you do not if the seed decides to be a little deviant and make you go everywhere. So rounding it cleaning is kind of hard to pull off. So being able to do it in this fashion though is going to be great.
Rainman, actually, it's not too bad because we already have to go into Swamp Palace once we do find the hook shot. So you can just basically say, okay, I've checked everything but Swamp and the tablet for hookshot. I'll go check the tablet first. If it's there, I complete Swamp Palace. If it's not, I'm committed to a Swamp Palace dip anyway. So, preferably, yeah, you'd like to group this together with the chest, but that tablet you can group in with a Swamp Palace dip as well. So it's really not that bad. As we're getting our first look into Graveyard Ledge here.
And in Graveyard Ledge, you get a piece of heart. Not fantastic. We're kind of... Hookshot is basically their go mode I'm at this point, and Riley doing a save and quit, which I don't agree on doing. Like, you still need to do Catfish at this point. There's no point into, like, isolating Catfish even further.
This is a Skull Woods or a Swamp Palace commitment, actually. This has to be a Swamp Palace commitment.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it has to be now, especially if they save and quit like that. Like there's no other reason to save and quit after that.
Then hope you find Hookshot in Swamp Palace.
Hold your breaths, everyone. We got Indie Mambo's tablet. 20 repeats. It looks like it could be both runners going into the Swamp Palace at this point.
Now, you may be saying it looks like CopyBookPizza is ahead. It's simply because they have one more crystal done. But that Tempered Sword to Master Sword is a huge difference, specifically on bosses. Where CopyBookPizza, should you even find the hookshot inside of Swamp, the Master Sword fight is significantly longer than a Tempered Sword fight. And Cold Stare is a significantly longer fight if you're having to spam Fire Rod because you can't combo and stack. Alright, so for CopyBookPizza, we've done in Ice Palace already. So if it's not in Swamp, it's either on Catfish or up the mountain for hookshot. So the last thing you want to see are Boots and Red Cane here in Swamp, because that would push you off into a direction you may not want to go into.
I mean, if the seed's gonna dictate it, you might as well have to bite the bullet and do it. But I feel like at this point, it's not that bad to dip into here now and to not come up with anything like the hookshot, because I think at this point you probably got to think the opponent at the very least probably would be doing the same situation here.
Yeah, we're at the point where looking for hookshot, you have nothing but bad locations left, and you're hoping and praying that you find it first. Thank you, Nordic Randomizer, for the raid of 11. Hope your guys' race went super well over on that channel. Make sure you check them out and give them a follow as well. Since we're a little bit behind on checks right now, I just want to remind you can follow both runners by hitting the ~R command inside a Twitch chat. That'll give you links to their Twitch pages. You can do the same thing for your commentating and tracking teams by hitting ~C. I'll give you links to myself, Worldwide Wimpy, my co-commentator, Esperhub, and our fabulous tracker, Keg in the Closet. We all play Rando. We're all, with Rando, but so is everybody else.
So, CopyBookPizza just pulled up the big key. He's gonna go ahead and open up the bitch.
Oh, that hurts. Oh, it hurts. So that's Schrodinger's Go mode for CopyBookPizza. We just need to find the boots. Once we find the boots, we're in full go mode. Where are those boots? Who knows?
I just made a disgusting noise. I'm so sorry, but good lord. That is Jeez. Well, I guess we don't have to worry about where the hook shot is now, but I feel like once CopyBookPizza finished this, he will be going to Bumper Cave to get that tempered sword because they still have yet to locate the hook shot. They still haven't yet to locate the second bow. So having that and doing the Ganon fight compared, like Master Sword to tempered, the comparisons between the two are just huge.
CopyBookPizza already knows there's a sword on Bumper. They went and checked it after doing Skullwoods.
Yeah, they did the appropriate check to check it up there and then went to Village of Outcasts afterwards.
I find this interesting. Both runners taking left side swamp with one item from Go mode, finding hookshot in the big chest. I would have elected to go ahead and do the back first, even after finding the map in the first check, simply because just in my history, I have found that progressive items, especially last ones, in Swamp Palace tend to be in the back, but that just might be my personal bias. So we find mushroom and $20 inside of left side swamp.
Yeah, I was gonna say they found mushroom and 20 rupees. The mushroom may lead into something, we don't know for sure. But at this point, unless boots is required in Ganon's Tower, or some arcane is required for Ganon's Tower, our runners are in go mode.
They need boots for Desert Palace.
Oh right. I forgot Desert Palace that fast. Excuse me. It blanked out of my memory really quickly.
So yeah, we need those boots for Swamp Palace or for Desert Palace. We may need them for GT. We may need the Samarian for the right side of GT. So it's a question of how thorough do you want to be going through the rest of the seed? Do you want to gamble GT is not locked by Samaria? Do you want to not check things in the hopes that it's not?
I was gonna say, like, we're still locked behind boots, so I'm gonna make sure to be thorough in this situation. As we did pull up a piece of heart and 3 bombs in the diver down, which CopyBookPizza did first try fantastically through the bomb method.
Yeah, one more item left here in Swamp Palace. We've gotten 5 items so far. And it looks as though the last item's going to be on Argus. Again, this Argus fight's going to be a little bit faster for Riley. Going through Ice Palace is going to be faster for Riley. So some time's going to be made up there on Riley's end simply because they are a little bit more armored and equipped. So we get our first Argus fight. Pull the puff with the hook shot. Swipe twice with Master Sword, or 1 spin will do it. Riley's going to have 1 swipe with Tempered Sword to kill it. So we're probably going to see 3 cycles of this first phase of Argus with the Master Sword. We'll probably only see 1 on Riley's side with the Tempered. As CopyBookPizza is actually doing a pretty good job with that Master Sword.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a stick and move there, here and there. Just making sure you get it before the 3rd phase. But as you saw there, no problemo.
And using the Fire Rod. Oh, just getting 3 hops. That's okay. Any boss victory is a good victory in my eyes.
Oh my goodness, Cane of Samora. What are you doing there, Cane of Samora?
So now we have the ultimate question. Are boots on pedestal?
Oh no, this just throws the gate wide open.
Boots could also be in Ice Palace because I think we only found 2 items in Ice Palace.
That is true, and that could.
And if there is an orphan item in Ice Palace, how long does CopyBookPizza wait to bring that into their logic?
He didn't go back in there after he finished up the dungeon. He's most likely or not, he's gonna hard commit to making that his last location. And if that's his last location, that is going to be the match for him.
I don't know if Keg paid attention to see if we got 3 items out of Ice Palace or not, or if somebody in chat did. But I'm pretty sure we found 2. I don't know if we found 3. Alright, Keck says there's an item in the big chest.
But yeah, I feel like you're in this situation. The least offensive thing you're going to have you can do at this point after Pyramid Fairy, if it does not have the boots, check the mushroom and then start going to Misery Mire.
Yeah, and CopyBookPizza with that hookshot can walk over to Graveyard Ledge as well to check that. So we got a heart container. Our fairy refill is going to be another green goo and a tempered sword.
Getting the bail out.
So yeah, I don't think CopyBookPizza is going to head toward Bumper Cave to get that sword. So we are equal in equipment currently.
Well, unless Riley just go ahead and take Pyramid Fairy.
It's possible. They still have to do Ice Palace, so if they're feeling behind and not finding boots in Ice Palace, that's probably the next place you check.
It looks like
this is make or break. If boots are in Ice Palace, Riley has a significant advantage. If boots are on Mushroom or on Catfish, CopyBookPizza has a significant advantage.
We get a lot of vanilla locations today. And
yeah,
by a lot, I mean 2, and that's too many.
Yeah, hookshot, a sword.
That hookshot vanilla location made me... Yeah. I just got done talking about how disgusting that was.
As nothing on the mushroom spot. Riley's going to be finding their half magic here soon. After doing this icebreaker. Now, icebreaker, you line yourself up through the door. You kind of push yourself into the wall. You do 1 pixel of movement left, and the Sumerian block pushes you through the wall. It's magic. A wizard did it.
And here is the moment of truth for CopyBookPizza. Is boots on Catfish? Oh, it's the silvers!
That's actually super nice to have. That's going to make sure that you have a significantly faster finishing of Ganon. You're going to have a faster climb up GT. Probably in the neighborhood of 90 seconds to 2 minutes in total time just through the GT climb and final boss. So those are going to be real nice and appreciated for CopyBookPizza.
And it looks like CopyBookPizza is opting into going into Death Mountain. So I'm going to check the Ether tablet, see if the boots is there. If it's not there, then you know, he could just go over to Turtle Rock. It's not that far. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. But I wouldn't be I guess he was gonna go to Ether, and then he just realized, well, let me just do Turtle Rock first, which may not be a good idea right now. Like Ether would the Ether tablet would have been a better idea, because if you did find your boots there, you save yourself from going into Turtle Rock to begin with.
I think Turtle Rock's going to be the last option that they go into. I think they're going to go ahead and check the density of Dark Death Mountain. You have the hookshot now. You have Super Bunny. You can go ahead and mirror over there from the Lionel spot. Get the tablet. Maybe do Spike Cave ahead of Turtle Rock. Take a save and quit and go over to Turtle Rock from there. But I think you're being japed by the medallions here. I don't think there's anything in TR, and I don't think there's anything in Mire. I would guess it's either on the mountain or in Ice Palace, or where the boots are at.
Well, since we're here, let's might as well open up the Turtle Rock and then do our overworld checks, and hopefully
just a heart container. Okay.
Riley's feel like CopyBookPizza is getting bailed out bit by bit with every chest that gets opened up in this situation, because if Boots was there, that would have been very painful.
Yeah. So yeah, the advantage here is still in CopyBookPizza's area here with the mountain checks. If I'm Riley and I'm feeling maybe behind, I might skip the density checks here and say, okay, boots are in Mire. I'm going to Mire first. It's green pendant. It's 2 items. Yeah, it's significantly less than Death Mountain, but so far Death Mountain hasn't had anything. Even in Light World, Death Mountain didn't have much. So, if you can gamble on nothing on the mountain and save yourself a climb, you might want to do it. 50 rupees and a piece of heart.
So the things left to check is the Ether Tablet, and then I guess if you feel so inclined, Spike Cave. But
I checked Spike Cave before Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Spike Cave. Yeah, I understand.
If I'm heading that way, if I'm heading to check the tablet first, I'm doing Spike first, or I'm doing this. I'm going into TR and finishing it off first. It's hard play.
Yeah, this is...
Because to me, right now, Mire and Turtle Rock / Mountain is a coin flip. It might not seem like it's 50-50, but to me, after doing Pyramid Fairy, doing Catfish, I'm going, okay, Green Pendant's there, Mire's there, I have access to it completely. Or I have a Turtle Rock mountain climb that, if it's not there, is such a time sink.
Yeah, it looks like CopyBookPizza is going to do the Turtle Rock play for his laying his chips down on Turtle Rock to see if the boost is there. It's only a matter of time where the truth revealed if it's either on the Ether Tablet, Spike Cave, or Misery Mire or Turtle Rock.
Yeah, one of our pendant dungeons. We also didn't have anything in Hera besides the lamp.
Yeah, Death Mountain entirely being this, not only having quite a bit of a condensity, but just not really yielding anything is a bafflement to me.
I tend to only see maybe 1, maybe 2 progressive items up Death Mountain, even with all the checks. Yeah, you'll get a seed where it'll have 4, and you're going, oh, okay. But usually when that happens, you have full Death Mountain access, including Dark World access, when you climb the mountain the first time. So generally, I avoid climbing the mountain as much as possible. You don't realize how much time you lose climbing the mountain and not finding anything. As we get a look here in the chain shop room, we've got ourselves a mirror shield.
Not in the true vanilla location, but still a disgusting place for it to be in. Because why there? I hate you. You're only using
fireplace
bridge.
Oh no, gonna turn in mushroom. Okay. Alright, it looks as though Riley's kind of orphan catfish. Which for us only has silvers, which is not that big of a deal. It'll make your Ganon a little bit slower, but...
I don't know. 4 shots to Ganon compared to... Like, how many spins do you need to do for Ganon? 12?
12. If you can do triples pretty well, you can 4-cycle Ganon off the Shadow versus 2, so... What's that? That's a difference of 20-ish... 25 seconds, maybe half a minute.
I want to say like roughly half a minute.
And we're going
still got to
get Riley. Also heading toward Dark Death Mountain.
So it looks like they're placing their wager on Turtle Rock as well, or they could be going to Death Mountain, check the Bunhop Cave as well as the Hookshot Cave, and then start making their way towards Ether Tablet and Spike Cave to see if those areas have their boots. But as where we stand now, this hunt for these new Nikes is wild.
Yeah, I consistently say Ice Rod hunts are the worst, Medallion hunts are the second worst, third worst hunt is boots.
I would rank that as second, to be honest, because one, you're slow. It means like while boots is required, it means you wish you had those much sooner. And 2, you have to be at the end of the game in order to get the boots from the looks of it. Meaning that you have to waste a lot of time trying to get to it. It's an insult to injury. It's a salt in the wound.
There's a freebie inside of a bottle.
It's not even a. Oh well, it is a good bee. Okay, I guess I can. I guess I can't get mad at that. If it wasn't a good bee, I would be really disgusted.
All bees are good bees. It's those dang hornets and wasps that are the pests. As we get a hook shot cave check here from Riley.
He's not going to get much
pizza. Yeah, copybook pizza heading through the back of Turtle Rock. Let's see if Riley commits to TR or if we're heading, yep, into TR. Man, oh, this coin flip hurts. It hurts.
Well, look on the bright side. If boots do end up being on pedestal, our runners did half the work to get it all done, I guess. But someone, you know what? Someone said Laser Bridge has boots. Who was it? Because they literally jinxed the scene. Oh dear. Well, I guess we can see Mirror Shield in action here.
The SG race yesterday had boots on Laser Bridge. In fact, it was the last check of Laser Bridge that had boots.
And there is our boots, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in 1 hour and 28 minutes and a handful of seconds. CopyBookPizza is now in go mode, meaning that they're going to immediately go to Desert Palace, finish up as soon as possible, and make sure they get to Gannis Tower right before bedtime. Riley's not going to be soon, not too far off either. So both of them making the decision to dive into this dungeon paid off. I want to say it's a relief for them, but it's like the realization that you have to be this deep in this dungeon to get your boots.
You know,
feel disgusting.
The worst part of that, if you think about it, the worst part is that all of Dark Death Mountain basically was locked by Swamp Palace.
Jeez.
Because you had your hookshot vanilla and red cane on Argus. And no one without boots is making the climb up to Hera to Mir to then go do Dark Death Mountain without the hookshot.
All because of Samora Cane popped up on Argus. It didn't. Okay, you know what? It could. No, wait, no. I was gonna say it could have been worse, but no, it is worse. Why did it? Why are you like this, Seed? Who did this?
So no, Rumi, this was not easily accessible, especially if you're playing Density, which our runners were, because the hookshot was vanilla Big Chest Swamp Palace to go kill Argus to drop the red cane. That is, oof. And what we had dark access pretty early because Moon Pearl, the only thing that was really out of the way was Moon Pearl and Eastern. And we had Titans and Hammer, or we had Glove and Hammer pretty early in CAC. Titans were in the front of Pod, which wasn't bow locked. So there were some really nice convenient items. It's just that you had to go through such a method to get the boots to get this one singular dungeon done. Watch, Big Key's gonna be like in Dark Magician for Ganons, because you don't need Red Cane for anything else but the boots. Because that's what's gonna happen.
I mean, we found Ice Rod very early in this seed, and Turtle Rock was an 8-pendant dungeon, so we didn't really need it to begin with.
We had Book on Blind too.
What else is the seed gonna do?
As Riley's making their way through Mimic Cave, yeah, Riley's gonna be probably in the neighborhood of 6 to 7 minutes behind, simply because you have to check all of these things. You can't just gamble Laser Bridge.
Yeah, you like gambling, like leaving out Laser Bridge, and while you're in this deep of Turtle Rock is foolhardy. Like it's fool's gold to do something like that.
Yeah. So we had flippers in Mini Moldorm. We had the mirror off of Zora's Ledge. So yeah, if you committed to Swamp Palace dip early on, yeah, you could have gotten these boots super early. But you would have had the universal brain of all time, the universal mind,
Not even
space and time, to dip Swamp Palace to get hookshot.
I wouldn't even say it's universe. It's like, what's beyond
the multiverse? You gotta have a multiverse brain for this.
You gotta be like, I'm talking like child in a womb that just houses the entirety of existence levels of intelligence.
We're talking string theory. We're talking multiple universi and timelines, galaxy brain to get that hook shot, to then get you Red Cane, to then go to Turtle Rock, a bad Hendant Turtle Rock, which by the way was Quake Lock, which was in the basement of Escape,
Yeah.
which is where the fire rod was.
And there's our big key. Thanks, Steve. We hate it.
Yeah, didn't need that Red Cane for anything other than our boots. So
We didn't even play guessing game due to how disgusted we are. Didn't even get a chance to at all.
because we knew it was going to be in one of the first 6 chests. It was going to be there. As Riley picked up their boots at 134.20 and change. Gonna head out here. Just about 6 minutes behind CopyBookPizza.
Now it is all a matter of execution between our two runners now. There is no more guessing games. Just how fast can we clean this seed up now?
Yeah, Copy has the advantage with the silvers, but all of that could be negated by a Moldorm fall. A couple Moldorm falls. And a death to Ganon.
Yeah,
A fall to Ganon.
Yeah, you'll have to mess up your execution quite a bit for Riley to catch up. Which it could possibly happen, tournament nerves and everything, but if you've been you have okay, let's take a look at their loadout. Silver's tempered, half magic, cape alone. That alone can ensure a victory against Ganon here, unless they waste so much magic that they can't light the torches anymore. That's the only way I can see it.
And honestly, there's really not much of an equipment advantage for CopyBookPizza with the bow and silvers, because you could still two-phase or two-cycle phase 1 and 2 on Ganon with tempered if you're not super clean with doing spin strats or dash pokes in phase 1 or 2. So an additional bat cycle and phase in phase 1 is about 17 to 20 seconds per. And that's about the difference of a tempered sword spin strats to silver on Ganon. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit of poor execution from CopyBookPizza for Riley to get back into this race, but you never know. That's the nice thing about Rando. Sometimes a bat goes a certain way. Here comes one of the moblins on a bridge, takes you out, you get stuck, you accidentally delete the floor in GT. A lot of things could go wrong.
So while Riley is finishing up their Landmost 1 fight, CopyBookPizza is just now tying up the loose ends on Landmost 2 with a few sword slashes here and there and everywhere. So
Yeah,
that'll be progressing up to the second half of the rise.
It looks as though CopyBookPizza wasn't super familiar with silver strats on Lammola 2 and just got on an off cycle with the Lammolas, so Fire Rod wouldn't have been super great. We'll see if Riley does Fire Rod strats on Lammolas 2. If you can 1 or 2 cycle Lammolas, you do make up a little bit of time on CopyBookPizza. It's a nice little chunk to make up if you can 1 or 2 cycle it, because I think that was 5 or 6 for CopyBookPizza. So, you know, that's, again, probably in the neighborhood of 15 to 17 seconds per cycle. So you could shave off anywhere from half a minute to nearly 50 seconds if you're able to 1 cycle. As we get through the torch room pretty easily from CopyBookPizza's side, takes the laser to the butt. No, don't shoot my butt, laser. No, that's a no-no spot. No, don't do that, laser. Stop it. Gets the second torch room. We've got the mini Helma room. CopyBookPizza's saying, I know where that other sword was. I've got bottles of goop. I don't need another key. I'm just gonna skip this and go on to the next room. Alright, we've got our Moldorm 2 fight here. Moldorm 2 Electric Boogaloo, this time with more gaps for you to fall into.
Yeah, more or less. It still feels the same, to be honest. But that spin there solidifies D-Doom to more 2. And all that's left is a hop, skip, and a jump to fight Agina 2. And after that, we fight the big man himself.
As we get through this bumper room, you can either hookshot, take the damage there from the Helmosaur, yourself up into the middle and shoot the gap. I like just going immediately to the right hand side there with the spikes and dashing up and then taking a second dash up the middle. But that's his preference. I don't think there's really much difference in time. As we get our first, which is the second wizard fight. That is at least a double. It could have been a triple. It's hard to tell. 1, 2, so we're at least at 4, maybe 5. 1 more or 2 more will do it. Yeah, it was a triple. Nicely done. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. We've got a pig to kill. We're going to hit the bacon with some bacon. And some silver arrows. Yes, we're going to create a hole with a bat. And cut on through and face a pig inside this pyramid.
Yeah, it was a pretty great Agina 2 fight. And now it's just finishing up the end here.
12 slashes in phase 1 and 2, or 6 equivalent spins to Ganon. It's going to push the phase to phase 3. There's phase 1 all completed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slashes so far in phase 2.
I would start using the cape
6,
now.
7. So we're going to get a second cycle here in phase 2. 5 more slashes to kill the pig. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. Ganon is pushed. We're going to get a phase 3 where he hops around, summons more bats that go in a circle, and makes sure that there are no more tiles around the edges. There's 1 swipe. Knocks the floor down. Gonna call more bats. Second swipe down, halfway through phase 3. One more swipe will push it to phase 4. He's gonna say, oh no, silver is my only weakness. No need to torch glitch here, but CopyPizza's gonna be a little safe. Yep. Yep.
I don't blame him for going ahead and doing the torch glitch. He's hoping that he doesn't need to use as much magic as much as he can and trying to get this done. So no fault on that regard. It looks like he will be done very soon now at this point. Time to seal the deal with this final arrow shot.
There we go. Get your GGs in chat for CopyBookPizza, who is going to win this round 2 bracket series 2-0 over Riley with an official time in racetime.gg of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 26 seconds. GG's, and moving on is CopyBookPizza.
Yeah, this seed decided to throw a wrench in their routing quite a bit from the looks of it, and it was just like, where is those boots? Because no one didn't think it would be boots locked until they started going into Desert Palace. But I do believe we are joined by our runners.
Yes, we have CopyBookPizza joining us. Riley's going to be in here in a couple of minutes as we see them finishing up Ganon's Tower with a quick little Moblin room. GG's CopyBookPizza on what was a pretty nice seed early on, and then you were down to a boots hunt.
Yeah, GG's. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, GG.
Yeah, it's definitely a wild one.
So, Copy, how concerned were you that last item in Ice Palace was boots?
Oh, incredibly! But I knew I couldn't double dip it if I wanted to win. I just had to leave it. I was trying to get that bomb jump to get to the big chest. Riley, I don't know if you've got it, but yeah, I did feel concerned. But you know, you got to make those gambles. Like you don't get it the first time, then.
I one trip ice. I didn't go twice.
But yeah, you were having a little bit of. You ended up missing that bomb jump from Ice-T to the big chest, with the freezer room, correct?
Yep.
So let me go ahead and let you know how you really want to do that. So if you sandwich yourself upright in that little corner and just drop the bomb, you'll do it 100% of the time.
Really?
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of nuanced stuff that I still need to work on.
Yeah, that bomb jump is super easy. There's really no trick to it at all. Yep, just upright, sandwich yourself in, drop the bomb. You can let go of the D-pad. It'll push you through.
It worked out for me in the end, so.
Yep. So we were... Go ahead, Esper.
Oh, I was going to say, good job, both of you. We were kind of trying our best to calculate where these items could potentially be. I'm not entirely sure what was the hugest item fact now I thought about, because I quickly forgot due to how disgusting the vanilla location of the hookshot was.
Yeah. I was pretty happy that I decided to dip swamp before going to ice, even though ice was like, but
yeah, I did the same as well. I looped it in after I did Smith Chain.
I fluted to purple chest, and then I did it after though. But
yeah, we were talking about when Riley finished up Ice Palace, because Pizza, you were inside and doing Dark Death Mountain. To me, it was a coin flip between, do I do Mire to get the green pendant, or Turtle Rock with such a late can of Samaria? Going, do I really want to make that extra mountain climb and it not being there? It's faster to do Mire for lesser checks, but it's faster versus if mountain is nothing, and it was almost nothing because that was the second to last chest in Turtle Rock to get the boots. So kind of go through the thought process of when you were at that point, both runners, what made you go do TR and do Death Mountain.
Dark Death Mountain and Turtle Rock is 11 checks compared to Mire plus Green Pendant, which is 3. I think it's kind of a no-brainer at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say, playing by density at this point was the gamble both runners took, which is, I think I can understand on this regard, to be honest, especially as far as like last location things. You want to last location at the very least on the biggest density as you can, just to hope that it's there at the very least.
Yeah, that was my exact thought process as well. My heuristic is to just go for density.
Yeah, same reason. Just dense. I still felt decent about getting that hook shot when I did, so I just had to make the best play I could and not feel like I had to make a gamble. I basically played the whole seed.
So Riley, my question for you would be, when were you going to do Catfish?
Last. I'm assuming that's where silvers were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Epic. Which, I mean, it probably would have saved me time because I might yeah. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a net like time, like it basically comes down to the same, right? Like
Yeah.
so.
I didn't use it that much outside of Ganon.
Did you? I'm assuming you never grabbed the sword on the bumper ledge then.
I did not. I saw it there, but I since I got the tempered sword, forget where it was.
Tempered was
was
Pyramid Fairy.
Okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
felt
I'm-
comfortable with tempered. I didn't feel the need to go.
Yeah, that was my tempered, so I was like, all right.
Okay.
I feel like I feel like at that point it's just gonna save me net time on Ganon if I never find gold. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so really, gold sword, silverless to tempered sword, silvers. It depends upon the player, because if you can one cycle through phase 1 and 2, silvers are definitely faster. But, you know, if you can do the last phase of Ganon super clean and your opponent does, you know, a 2 cycle in both phase 1 and 2, it's about the same amount of time regardless. So, oof, as Riley, I see you took a fall there on the pig. Yeah. Sometimes bat hugs suck.
yeah, I don't know. My Ganon fight was not great.
Well, other than that, there really wasn't too much divergence between you two guys.
Whoops.
Copybook ended up doing Skullwoods first. Riley, you came in from the south through Hype Cave first, if I remember correctly. Or
Yeah,
vice
I went-
versa.
Yeah.
Since that Moon Pearl was in the first check of Eastern, Copybook had a little bit of an advantage on that because you elected to go ahead and do Agina before doing Eastern.
Yeah.
Really,
I was just trying. Sorry, I was sorry to cut you off, but I was just kind of like trying to fish for a bow because at that point, like if you can just one trip Eastern, it would feel really awful if you go into Eastern, get bow locked, and you don't get Pearl, and Pearl is on like Armos Knight, and then your bow is just like in like Agina's or something. So I decided to do that real quick first, which obviously like didn't work, but
It didn't work, but it did definitely make a lot of sense to take the precautionary as to try to do those checks before going into Easter to begin with, which, as you said before, if neither Moon Pearl or Bro was in there, you would have been burned completely and lost
Yeah.
probably a lot more considerable time doing so.
it just thinks you didn't follow it all the way through because there was a sword in that big chest, so that would have made a few more fights significantly faster
Yeah.
versus Rider's sword.
Did you mirror out after you got the Pearl as well?
Yeah.
I did. Well, I did the right side chest. I don't know what it's called, but I did the right side and then mirror out of that because, like, at that point, like going to the right side there is not much. Like, won't save that much more time going for that one. So
I just figured it. Moon Pearl opened up so much in the Dark World.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, I mean-
just got and went with it.
and with mirror, it was I think it was the obvious choice because walking then you just like double walk through Eastern for no reason basically. So
Mm-hmm.
And for you, Copy, you got bailed out a little bit by Moldorm having Lamp on the boss
yeah.
there. Because Riley had Fire Rod, so we were saying, oh man, if Moon Pearl's in the basement, how hard of a last location is that going to be for Pizza? And Moldorm dropped the fire source, and we're like, okay, it's the last item, don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I got very lucky. I'm glad I full cleared that.
where was Fire Rod again?
Was the first chest of Escape.
Oh, you went. Oh, really?
Yeah, I put off Escape for quite a bit actually.
It was only until I think when you didn't win. I know it was definitely before the decision before going to Eastern Palace. You decided to do Escape, and then after Escape, that's when you did Eastern to get your Moon Pearl.
Yeah.
Also-
I feel. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
GG for Riley finishing at 150.59 as well. So, GG, my dude.
Thanks.
But I don't think I have any other questions. So copybook paste. I was going to say pasta. Copybook pizza. You're going to be advancing on into the tournament further in. We do hope you continue your efforts into securing your victories. Riley, it was fantastic watching you run throughout that. I hope you continue doing more speed runs, joining the ladder races, especially getting involved with speed running a lot more. Because if I'm not mistaken, the league is right around the corner as far as like signups and the layout of the Run C types is going to be. So if you are interested in speedrunning, look towards there, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get a group that will accept you for doing more speedrunning.
Yeah, I mean, I already have plans for the league, and I'm probably going to try to play a bit more ladder if I can get unlazy. And I had a ton of fun with this, so like I'm having a ton of fun learning a new Rando, because I have played a lot of Rando already, so it's not it's not my first venture into Rando, so it was a fun thing to pick up. And thanks for hosting the mentor tourney, because it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. This is my first experience with Rando, and it's been a blast so far. The community is really nice. The admin team and everyone involved puts in a lot of effort, and we really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, GG's to both CopyBookPizza for moving on, and Riley for making the second round of the brackets. We'll see you guys on the ladder and in the league coming up. Yeah. Remember, you guys can check out more Go Mode podcast content at gomodepodcast.com. We're going to have lots more races in the second round and advancing further on in this mentor tournament. Remember, you can also follow each of our runners by hitting the exclamation mark or command inside of Twitch chat. You do the same thing for your commentating team. Myself, Worldwide Wimpy, Esperhub as my commentating partner, and our fabulous tracker, Keg in the Closet, GG's to them as well. Esper, any last thoughts?
No, I don't think there's anything left to be said. And with that, we would like to thank you all for joining us for today's race in the Go Mode podcast for the Mentor Tournament 2021. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.